Welcome to Azad Bioacademy. Today's lecture topic is immunology and immunity. So today is the first lecture of this on this topic. So I will try to explain the basics of this terminology, that is immunology and immunity. So I will try to explain by giving some example, and metaphorically I will try to categorize the different components of the immunology and immunity. Okay, so firstly you have to know what is immunology. So in generally, the immunology means study of immunity. So our main focusing point would be immunity. So what is immunity? So immunity is the entire defense system of your body. That means your body has a defense system. And how you will know your body has a defense system? So just try to think about a defense system of a country. A country must have a defense system, as police force, army, and even border security force or border security guard. Okay, firstly, any foreign uh, enemies will try to enter into a country. The border security force, border security guard will defend them. So in that way, when any enemies will just enter in your country, your police force will fight against them. If they fail to do so, then they will call the army, and army will take over the charge and to fight against them. So this is the one-way mechanism of defense system of a country. And the police is always deployed throughout the country, across the country, to maintain the law and order situation, as well as to fight against any enemies. So even when the police force will fail, then they will call army. So in that way, a country just maintaining the law and order situation as well as defense system. And if sometimes when foreign enemies will attack in a massive way, then your army force will just fight against them. So in that way, if you think, just come to your body, then you will get some message, just considering the example of a country defense system. Suppose I already said the border or barrier. So in our body has some barrier, that is the skin, is a barrier that will protect the entry of foreign substances, microorganism. Okay, so if you think in another way, your respiratory tract has a mucus layer, and the mucus, the very viscous substances that will entrap the microorganism and to inhibit the enter into the body. And then you can think about your digestive tract. The digestive tract also has mucus. If you think about your urogenital organ, that is your sex organs, so over there also mucus. So mucus also has a protective barrier. So they will prevent to enter microorganism in your body. So that is the primary defense. Of course, you can consider it. Okay, so when by escaping such type of boundaries or barrier, when your microorganism will expose to your into your body, then what will happen? Your body immunosystem will attack the microorganism, and they will just fight against them, and they will save you. Okay, so immunosystem, I say. So what does it mean? So every system has some components. So in your immunosystem has components like immunocells. So immunocells, it has different type of immunocells. Firstly, I will try to recall the example of police, army, like something like that. So come to the point by considering that example. That is, in your body has some police force. That is police. Okay, so police, your immunocell like monocyte, like the matured form macrophage. You can think about natural killer cell. Okay, natural killer cell, that is NK cell. You can put a star mark. That means this natural killer cell can serve as a police as well as army. Okay, so I will discuss later one. So monocyte, macrophage, natural killer cell, these cells are basically uh, moving throughout the body, and they are present among the tissues and as well as the bloodstream. So everywhere, always present. As like in your country, the police force are deployed throughout the country, like that. Okay, so you can consider the immunocells like monocyte, macrophage, and natural killer cell as a police force. Okay, police force. So this is the primary very quick action. They will show the quick action against the foreign particles. Okay, because they are already they are deployed across the country. When enemies will encounter, then they will fight against them. Very quick, but non-specific and specific I will discuss in the next lecture. So this is the police, and the second one is army. So who are they? Army. So an army force is basically T cell lymphocyte, your B cell lymphocyte, and already I mentioned natural killer cell. Okay, these are army. That means when the police will fail, then they will take charge and they will proliferate and they will use some weapons and then fight against the microorganism. These are the armies. Okay, so the second question may come in your mind, that is, okay, your body has police, your body has army, your body has the border security force. So where uh, they actually produce, from which part of your body they will produce, and where in which part of your body they will mature, and they will get training, they will arrange a meeting. So as like army or uh, police force, when planning to attack some enemies, then what they usually do, they actually arranging a meeting, and then just go for training, and then go for attacking the enemies, as like that. So your body, our body, has such same types of things. Like your body has immune system, your body has meeting center. Okay, meeting center. So meeting center, that means that is, you can think about lymph node. And what does it mean, lymph node? I will discuss just later on. So lymph node is the meeting center. Over there, when antigen or foreign substance actually in exposure, then your B cell, T cell, natural killer cell, they are ready to proliferate. How many cells are required to fight against them? Such type of just decision will make in that place, that is meeting center. So lymph node. I will discuss later on about the lymph node. What is the lymph node and how why it is considered as a meeting center. So second one is the center is training center. Okay, training center. So your body immune system get training from different parts, and basically you can consider lymph node as well. Lymph node. This can also consider as a training center, or also you can think about the gut associated lymphoid tissues and also mucus associated lymphoid tissues. So gut associated lymphoid tissues means, your gut and lymphatic system is highly close to each other, and the tissues over there, they will exposure to the microorganism, and immunocell will just attack and also get training to fight against them and to recognize this cell is your own cell or your foreign cell, like that. So you can, in our body, different places, the mucous membrane are there, and mucous membrane is highly protected by mucus, that is a viscous substances. So over there also some lymphoid tissues, and there they are actually playing important role as a training center of your immunity, of your immune system. Okay, so training center. So training center, meeting center, police, army, that means your body is ready to fight against the foreign substances. So now you have to think how they will recognize. That will be discussed in the next lecture. So now the question may come in your mind, that is from which part of your body the police, army are actually produced. So firstly come to the point, that is your all the immunocells, monocyte, macrophage, natural killer cell, your B cell, T cell, all the immunocells comes from bone marrow. Basically bone marrow, okay? So bone marrow. So bone marrow has a special type of stem cell, that is hematopoietic stem cell. That is a special type of stem cell. Stem cell is a such type of cell that can just transform into another type of cell as per the demand. Okay, so hematopoietic stem cell, I will just consider to discuss about the hematopoietic stem cell regarding the immunity. Okay, so if I just think about the stem cell, then you can categorize into two lineages. One is myeloid cell, and second one is lymphoid cell. Okay, so it will be easy to understand because already the types of cells already discussed. So myeloid cell and then lymphoid cells. So actually, what is it? So lymphoid cell, the B cell, already I said, B cell lymphocyte, T cell lymphocyte, NK cell, then NK T cell. These are lymphoid cell. Why these are called lymphoid cell? Lymphatic system and B cell lymphocyte. So these are lymphoid cell. And why it is lymphoid, I will cover it. And the second one is myeloid cell. Myeloid cell means and the other cell other than B cell, T cell, NK cell or NK T cell, other than that is monocyte, already I said, macrophage, dendritic cell, your mast cell, and you can say neutrophil, you can say basophil, so eosinophil, that's what you can say, eosinophil. So these cells are actually called myeloid cell. So lymphoid cell, you can say the lymphoid cells are basically the army force, and these are the basically police and associated cells. Okay, so actually you already I think you understand that is all the immunocells comes from the bone marrow, that is from the bone marrow hematopoietic stem cell. Okay, and where they will get matured and where they will encounter the microorganism, where they will proliferate as per the required amount to fight against the enemies. So that will be the second point, that is where they will mature. So in a sentence already I try to cover, that is all the immunocells comes from bone marrow. Okay, so firstly I will consider the B cell. B cell will mature in bone marrow also. That means it will produce from bone marrow and mature also from bone marrow, and it can proliferate in actually lymph node. Okay, lymph node proliferate basically, and the T cell matured in thymus. Okay, and proliferate in lymph node. Lymph node. Okay, so if I think about the NK cell uh, produce already covered and matured in bone marrow and proliferate in bone marrow and other tissues. Okay, and if you think about the monocyte and macrophage, these are this also produced from your bone marrow and matured in the cells, that is that I will try to I have to explain in different way where they will produce. I will say about the other tissues, like other tissues means other tissues like spleen, that can be lymph node, that can be your spleen, that can be your gut associated lymphoid tissues. So that over there, other tissues. Okay, and in that way, if you think the other cells, then you will get the message other tissues, basically different places, their maturity level and the proliferation level. So if I'm just trying to summarize it, if I just categorize where they will mature, where they will encounter, so we can just make it in two divided part. One is primary lymphoid organ and secondary lymphoid organ. Then that will be very easy to understand. That is, one is primary lymphoid lymphoid organ. What does it mean? Primary lymphoid organ, basically T cell and B cell, where they will mature. So B cell matured already, I said. B cell matured in bone marrow and T cell is matured in thymus. Okay, so thymus and bone marrow, this is the primary lymphoid organ. Over there, B cell and T cell will mature, will proliferate. Actually mature, and proliferation can occur in different places like lymph node and other tissues, basically lymph node. And secondary lymphoid organ, two is the secondary lymphoid organ. Okay, so secondary lymphoid organ, these lymph organs are basically already I said, that is lymph node, that is spleen, that is your liver, sometimes consider. Then you can say about the adenoid gland. Adenoid gland location is just inner part of your nasal root. And then you can say about the tonsil. Mast cell, they are mature, they are encountered to the microorganism and they proliferate. The proliferation of these cells and maturation. So this is the secondary. The today's discussed topic is the basic of immunology, basic immunity.